Hey again everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beers and Board Games with me, Georgie. Today something totally different, not totally different because I've done a few before, but it's not a review, it's not a preview, it's not a vidcast, it's not a podcast. It is another one of my top 10 lists. This is one of my own personal ones, not one with the game boss as we call ourselves, Alistair Valen Baker, but one of my own, and this is the top 10 games for couples. So, without further ado, I think we should just jump straight into it and see what my top 10 games for couples is. Starting off with my number 10. Okay, my number 10 in my top 10 game for couples is Lord of the Rings, the co-op game. That's the game by Reiner Knizia. I have played this game so many times, 2-player. It's unbelievable, and the theme just comes running out of it. I really love this game. The box is so tight now because of the amount of times I've played it. I might actually have to get another copy soon. Thank God they're easy to pick up, but it's a super fun game, super thematic game. Doesn't last that long because it's only about 45 minutes to an hour, but the cooperative style that you actually feel like, well, I mean you don't actually feel like, but to me you get such a rush and a feeling of actually trying to get to Mordor to destroy the ring, and usually those final dice rolls at the end, when you're getting, there's always like 3 dice rolls I think it is at the end, when you you have to roll the dice here, you have to roll it here, and then you have to roll it once you've completed everything as well. It's like, and if you die then, that's it. But it's a super fun game. I don't know how many times I've said super fun already because I'm only on number 10, but it's a really awesome game. That's Lord of the Rings, the cooperative game. It's my number 10. Okay, my number 9 is a strategic abstract game. Abstract game, Hive. This is the little hexagonal, I believe, maybe? I don't know. Tile game with little bugs on them. Each of them can only move their own certain way. But you can't like break the hive, so it's very like strategic as to where you place it. The aim of the game is to try and surround the person's queen. It's kind of very chess-like, very domino-like at the same time with the feel of the pieces. But yeah, that's Hive, and that's my number 9. Okay, my number 8 is Forbidden Island / Desert. I guess Desert is classed as the more adult version, as people like to call it, but Forbidden Island for me is certainly the game for couples. It's very thematic, but at the same time it's light enough to just be that quite heavy thinking game where you're discussing where the best moves are going to be, where should you like unflood to or shore up, I think they believe they call it, to try and reserve the places, to try and get more cards, to try and get the treasures, try and get off this damn rock. It's a super fun game. I mean, I don't know how many times me and my wife have played it, and I don't know how, I can't explain how much fun we have had playing it together as well. I would recommend this to any couple, particularly and maybe as a gateway game as well. That's my number 8. I'm getting lost in the numbers already. I'm so bad at this. That's my number 8, Forbidden Island / Desert. Okay, my number 7 is another cooperative game. Actually, looking at the list, this is the last one on the list, so end of co-ops, I'm afraid, cooperative lovers. This one is, what's it again? The Grizzled. Now, I know this only came out this year? Yeah, this year, but it's so thematic and it's hard to call this game fun, but it really is a challenge, and that challenge makes it fun. It's almost like, I mean, a lot of people say that for 2 players, this is not the greatest way to play it, and I would agree. Maybe like 3 to 4 player is the best way to play it, but in 2 players, it's still really, really fun, really, really good game. And the reason I would say that is because when there's only 2 of you, the hard knocks and the using of your lucky charms and the needing of support comes very quickly because there is only 2 of you, and you really need to work together. And see, when you actually win the game or even get very close to winning the game, you still feel like you've almost achieved something. You know, like you feel like you have accomplished something for the day. It's one of those games you don't, like I said, you never feel, it's hard to call this game fun, but it's definitely challenging, and it's challenging to the point of great for me. And like I said, as far as couples games go, this is my number 7, and that's the Grizzled. Okay, my number 6 is Splendor. Splendor is the set collecting game to, well, you're collecting gems, which are like those nice heavy poker chips. I think everyone's seen and heard about these. You're collecting these, or you collect these gems to get these cards to then try and get people to come around, and overall whoever gets 15 points quickly is the winner. Again, I would say it's quite an abstract game, but at the same time it's kind of like a set collecting game. Really, really fun. Doesn't last that long again, maybe 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, maybe 35 to 40, depending if you're having a good yap in between. But again, for couples, quite a laid back two-player game. You never really feel like there's too much confrontation in this one, you know, because it's not like direct. You can block people essentially, but it seems to be out with the spirit of the game. But I don't know, it depends how you feel about it. But that's my number 6, and that's Splendor. Ba-ba-da. Okay, my number 5 is Star Realms. Star Realms is the deck building game for, like, again, this is just simply a two-player game. Although I believe that you can get, if you put 2 decks together, you can play 3 to 4 player with it. I'm not really sure how that would work. Now, I know obviously there's Cthulhu Realms out now, there's Epic, Star Realms, I'm getting excited, Star Realms Colony, which I am going to get to add into this one too. However, Star Realms, for me, being the first one, and me and the wife played it, and we've played it, and we've played it, and we've played it, and we still play it, and I play it with friends as well. I'm not like playing with my friends over couples, but I play it with friends wherever I go. Again, this is a game you bring with you. It's so much fun. Like, I love it when you get like a great combo together, and you're like, well, that's 5, blah, blah, 13 damage. You know, you just feel like you're really hammering down on people, and of course when it happens to you, it's damaging to the soul. But I really, really enjoy the game, and that's Star Realms, and that's my number 5. So that's our halfway mark now. Yeah, that's us halfway. Also, I'm a numpty. Star Realms is not the halfway point. That would be Splendor, because we're doing 10. So anyway, Star Realms is number 5. My number 4 is Tides of Time by Portal Games. Again, I believe this one came out this year. Super fun. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that this list. Drafting game. You don't think it's going to be much. I mean, I actually thought, how fun is this game going to be? You're playing with a small number of cards. You're just passing them back and forward because it's the drafting game. What's the deal with it? Why is it so popular? And then I got it, and man, love it. Love the point scoring mechanism. Love the, I don't want to give him this card, but I want this card. He might take it next time, but I don't want that. It's such a struggle to decide what you're going to do. But then you make the choices, you stick with them, and then you see how it pans out in the end. I really enjoy this game. I mean, like, as far as couples games go, like, you know why this is in my top half. It's super fun. I would go as far to call this a micro game because of how little cards are in it, and the box is fairly big for what it is, but the cards are like a tarot size, and they're actually quite good quality as well, because one of my friends spilt an entire can of juice, fizzy juice, soda, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you're watching it from, all over them. And we quickly dried them off really quickly. We put them on top of something warm. I really thought they were just going to go warped, to be honest. But they're fine! I'm probably going to buy another copy anyway, because I think they're starting to get a bit tatty just from shuffling the small deck of cards that are already there, the amount of times we've played it. But we love the game. That's Tides of Time, and that's my number 4. Okay, we're now into the top 3. And my number 3 is 7 Wonders Duel. Now, this was really hard for me not to put this like bang at the top of the list straight away because of the amount of times that I've been playing it recently, because how recently this game came out. Or certainly because how recently I purchased the game. But man, I am loving it. I love the little pyramid structures. I love the choice of, but if I take this will unveil them. And the whole like hidden cards, like I don't know what's under there. Should I really give them that option? It might not be good, but I'm trying to collect sciences, so I don't want them to super thinky again. For a little 2-player game, you're watching your combat. Reminds me, is that FMD has one of those metal combat tokens, and they love me. please send me one. No, honestly, I really want one, so I'd be willing to like trade or pay or do something for that. But anyway, that's my number 3, Seven Wonders Duel. Okay, my number 2. Now, I might get a lot of slack for this, but to me, like I said, this is my top 10 couples games list, and it's Jaipur. 2-player only, set collecting game to get the points for them quicker by. It's basically like a trading game, but you're not trading with the players, so you're trying to collect as many fabrics or spices as you can to trade them into the markets. But you want to be the first people to get there because, obviously, to start with, people really want all this stuff, and then the more saturated the market becomes, the less people really want them and the less they're worth. So you get in quickly with the rubies and the gold and you get lots of points, and then if you get in quickly with the fabrics and the spices, you get some points, but then the longer it goes on, you get very little points. And once I think 3 piles are depleted, you end it, so you have how many people have the most camels and how many points everyone has, tally them up, and do that 3 times, and best of 3 is the winner. Doesn't sound like much, but man, I love Jaipur. So much fun. You have to check out even if you're remotely into 2-player games. It's on that bracket as well, but it's really cheap. It's almost like something you can just, dare I say it, stuff into a stocking of some kind, or like, yeah, it's almost like that type of game. And that's my number 2 2 of couples. I can't get it out. That's my number 2 of my couples games list, Jaipur. Okay guys, so my number 1 game for couples is Spectre Ops. The reason I decided to pick Spectre Ops is because I love the deduction aspect of it, love the minis, love the huge map, and the overall quality of the game. I love the fact that when you're playing you just feel like you're eyeing your opponent. I love when you're the agent, you feel like you're going through like some big artillery unit, like I'm going to take this, this, and this, and this, and now I feel badass enough to go in and just whip the place and hack it. Get out of there with nobody finding me. And of course, when you're the hunters, you're like, I don't think so. I'm going to take the beast and the prophet, and let's see how you get on. It's just so intense. I really love the game. At 3 to 4 players, it's still really good, but for me, I honestly believe this game is best played 2 players. And please, Plaidhead or Nazca, if any of you guys ever see this, please make an expansion. Please. I've been praying for a very long time for an expansion. I really love the game, and that is my number 1 game for couples, Spectre Ops. So guys, that's been my top 10 games for couples. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Also, if your significant other, your spouses, your wives, partners, whatever, have a favourite game that you guys like to play, comment down below and let me know. Also, you can follow me at Beards and Boards on Twitter. Other than that, guys, catch you later.
This episode was sponsored by Gameslore, the UK's largest specialist games retailer, which can be found at gameslore.com.